going on, boys? How's everyone doing today? Ronnie Q, what's going on, man? I've noticed you haven't missed a live in a long time. It's really good to see. It's really good to see. Everyone in the chat's got an R as the first letter of their name. Robbie, Rob, Ron. What's going on, guys? For today's live, no real agenda, just breaking down trades together, seeing if we can find any cool opportunities. Just going to be scanning for some short vol, I think, unless you guys have any other ideas, things that you want to look into. Just going to be doing a scan, chatting about some ideas. I was looking briefly this morning, and I think there's some decent stuff out there. I'll show you guys how I've been doing my little scan here. We'll probably do like a bit of a different one this time. Maybe sort by like, I don't know, IV rank or something like that. Just, getting used to using the filter in different ways, right? The scanner, trying to find trading opportunities. I guess actually I'll pull that up quick. Something kind of cool, guys. So I'm in the process of making this document right now. It's going to be pretty serious, but basically this is like an in-depth breakdown of the terminal. It's a user manual. So for every single feature within the terminal, you're going to have a full breakdown of what it is, how it works, and an example of it being used. I have some cool ideas for it. I'm really excited to share with you. Jordan and I are sitting down to put some final touches on the first draft today. Then I might release that and then a more polished version down the road. So for those of you that, when we did our survey asking you guys questions about, what do you like about PA? What do you want to see better? We had a really cool insight. It's obvious that a lot of you guys trust the data in the terminal, want to be able to use the terminal, but learning to use it is challenging. And I can totally resonate with that, which is why I'm building out this document. And I'll be doing like a video series on it too. So super exciting. Pranav, what's going on, man? How'd your SAT go? Did you make your parents proud, man? You getting into the school of your dreams? What's the deal? All right, guys, let's get started on the scan here. So when you come in, sometimes, you don't necessarily have a idea off the bat, right? You're not necessarily coming into the terminal with an idea. A lot of the times you will be, right? For example, maybe you want to break down AMC vol, or, you're looking at the earnings that are coming out today, or, something like that. But a lot of the times you'll be coming in here and you're trying to actually explore and find something. And that's what these scanners are really used for. Right? Markets have, right now we're looking at 2,185 equities. Ain't nobody got time to go through all that manually, especially with the million possibilities of things you could look for. So what we're going to do is we're going to start applying some filters. And what we're going to start off looking for today is just short vol opportunities. Right? I want to find somewhere where implied volatility is higher than what I think realized volatility will be. So I'm going to look for things such as IV versus forecast, things with a high IV rank, liquidity. And then I'm going to go through the list of what remains and try and understand what I'm seeing there, right? See if there's anywhere that maybe there's an opportunity. So as for price, right, let's put on some liquidity filters. I'm going to put 15. Average option volume, let's go 4,000. IV versus forecast, 1.2 or greater, which means that, so I put on my liquidity, option volume, and price. Then I put on IV versus forecast of 1.2. So the implied vol is going to be at least 1.2 times the forecast of volatility for the 30-day options. And then with those on, why don't we sort by IV rank? So right now I've pulled up the ones in order of the highest IV rank. And the one at the top of the list is SCCO. Wow, it's not a pharma company, right? Last few times we've come in here and done this scan, it's always been a pharma company. So that's kind of cool right off the bat. We can maybe start with this, right? SCCO. Now, something I always like to check is I want to make sure that there's not like an earnings coming up, right? Because I'm not trying to trade earnings right now. And the quick way that I can do that is I look here. I can use my, it's because I'm on my laptop, I'm using Zoom. I can do this, right? So the things that I compare, I want to make sure this doesn't have earnings. So I'm going to look at this IV30 column, right? And I'm going to compare it to, oh shoot, I'm going to have to do this actually. All right, I'm going to expand this a little bit. Have to hide the chat for a second, guys. Okay, so I'm going to compare this IV 30-day column with this non-event vol 30-day column. So what do you guys think? If there's no earnings, what should I see between these two columns? If you guess that the non-event vol should equal the IV 30, you would be correct, right? So we can see here that we have a 53 IV for the 30-day vol, and we have a 53 IV for the non-event vol. Whereas, let's say we look, we have an example of something else here, right? If we look at SFIX here, we have 99 here on the IV 30-day and 84 or 85 here on the non-event vol. So let's compare those two quick just so we can see the difference, right? If we look at SCCO, we come down here, you can see there's no difference between the implied and non-event, telling us there's no real event here. It looks like in the 10-day there actually is like 2% left, which is funny. Must have just had its event or something. That's kind of weird, actually. It's not enough to care about, though. And then what was the other one? SFIX. Right, we can see there's some event being priced in really soon. Right? Let's see. June 7th, right? So they have earnings in 5 days. So next Monday, I guess. So you see, right? That's the quick way I make sure that I'm not trading something that has earnings vol baked into it. So let's go take a look at SCCO. Does anyone know about this company? That'd be very useful if someone here has some familiarity with this company that we're about to take a little bit of a deeper dive into. SCCO stock, let's take a look. Southern Copper, it's a mining company. Okay. Pretty flat over the last month. A little bit of volatility though, right? We've seen it go, actually tons of volatility. Oh, Pranav, I'm sorry, man. You guys always find something to roast me over. Either it's because I don't have ad blocker or it's in light mode. Blah, blah, blah. Nah, I don't care enough, Pranav. You better watch your mouth too, or the next terminal release is going to be only light mode. All right, let's see here. So even my studio went light mode. Don't worry, Pranav. It's just over there. It's just down there. That's where the studio is. I just felt like sitting in this room today. Okay. So let's see if we can figure out something about this company, right? What's going on around it? Is there any information we should be aware of? It's chopped around a little bit recently. Short interest expands. Let's see if they give any reasoning as to why. Let's see. Okay, gave the stock a sell rating. Cool. Doesn't bother me too much. A director sold 1,000 shares. Is this thing trading at like $10 or something? Oh, $70. Okay. Still. Okay, so I'm not seeing much news. It has fluctuated a lot though, right? In the last 12 months, it's been as low as $35 and as high as 83, right? And in the last month alone, we've seen it chop around like 20%. All right, let's see. We got to mute this. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so no real news, I guess, that we need to be concerned with. Like, okay. Upcoming dividend, don't care. No real news that like I would say like drives huge vol or anything. But when we come in here, we see that SCCO has a really high IV rank, right? It's at 100, right? Relatively, it's all-time highs. And looking at the vol cone here, let's see where we're at. It looks like where the vol's really pumped up is maybe on this 20 to 30 day mark. Okay. So if I were to be coming in here to sell vol, off the bat, I'm starting to think maybe this nearer dated stuff is looking pretty juicy. Let's just pull up SCCO. Okay. Right. Stocks moved 1% today. The 1 day implied move is 3%. If we take a look at the implied vol 30 day versus the realized vol 30 day, see what it's looked like over the last 3 months. Okay, so we have had periods where the realized vol has been outpacing, right? Look at this. If the realized vol has been pretty high the last little while, maybe that in and of itself is what's caused this, 6-point spike in implied vol in the last, last couple days, right? Since Monday. It's looking a little bit, right? Thing kind of slowed down today. It didn't really move. If you take a look at it over the last 5 days, let's see. Micah, what's going on, man? I'm taking a look at a company called SCCO for a short vol play. Just found it using the scanner, sorted by IV versus forecast, IV rank, liquidity. Vol's just looking a little bit here, near dated vols. I'm not seeing any big news coming out, but it's trading at 53 implied vol. Things chopped around the last month pretty seriously, right? But what I am sort of thinking here is, maybe we could come in and sell some vol here. I'm thinking like somewhere like around like the 20-day mark. Yeah, Micah, do you know anything about this company? I did some digging. I couldn't really find anything, super interesting. It's just chopped around a bunch, but I'm not seeing any like unusual volume coming in of any nature or anything like that. It's not like implied vol has been climbing like crazy. But I am sort of thinking that unless there's a reason for this thing to pick up realized vol, it's looking pretty good. All right, let's see how the skews changed over time here. Wow, would you look at that? Skews at all-time lows. It's basically flat. Right? This thing usually has too much gamma risk. Well, what are we looking at here, right, for gamma risk? Like, what's the biggest 1 day move this thing has seen? Like 5%? Right? What I would probably do is, like, what I'm thinking is something like we come in here, we would maybe sell like a 30-day straddle. And if we got a big realized move, we're wrong. We get out. We don't bag hold it. We don't, if we had a 5% move a day or something, probably cut it. Right. But if this thing continues to chop 1 or 2% a day up and down, delta hedge where needed, that can be pretty lucrative. Right. But I do get what you're saying, Curtis. Like, what drives these things? Are they like ripe for like acquisition, or is it when they find new metals, like new mines? Like, what would sort of drive this thing up or down? I don't really trade mining companies very much. I don't know a ton about them. All right, if we take a look at how the skews change for this thing. All right, let's look at the 30-day skew. We compare today to, let's say, a month ago. Let's see what's happened. Skew looks pretty much the same. It's just the level of vol on the 30-day has shot up 20 points here, basically. Right, it's 18 points higher in the last 30 days. It's pretty interesting. And if we look at the last month on the term structure here, where has it changed the most? Yeah, we can take a look at SLV together. I'm kind of thinking, guys, do you think if SLV vols are bid as well, do you think this could have something to do with like inflation or something like that? You know what I mean? Is there something I can check the correlation with, Curtis? Like, do you have an ETF, copper ETF I could do? So we've actually seen it get pretty bid on like the 120 day as well. You think this could have to do with like a move into precious metals or something like that? I know, Micah, they've been talking about that for a while. I'm aware of this whole squeeze on SLV thing. I think that's ridiculous. Rob saying metals are all bid. They got word about our urban mining company. Honestly, right? I don't know what to tell them though. Like, that's supposed to be private information. All these guys are trading on insider information right now. It's not publicly released yet. COPX. Copper, okay, CPER, we do have that. Okay, it's not really correlated. It's like 0.44. So it looks like in the last little bit especially, right, it was pretty correlated at one point in time over a 60-day period. But in recent times, SCCO just got absolutely smoked. And yeah, crazy. So I wouldn't say that it's just like follows the price of copper. Right? This is a mining company. So it's like the asset that they create is copper, but the business is not the price of copper. It's not like SLV or something. Let's see what's going on with SLV. Are these things correlated? Mildly. Not incredibly, though. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking that that's not a bad play, right? SCCO selling near dated vol 20, 30 days out, hedging it as need be. And then if you do get like a 5% mover or something, or the thing trends really hard, I'd probably cut it. Any other questions about that? If not, we're going to move on to talk about SLV. That's what our buddy Micah wanted to have a quick chat about. And then besides that, that might be the last one we can get through for the day. But remember, guys, like, there actually seems to be some pretty worthwhile stuff to look through if you just do a short vol scan right now. And filter by IV rank seems to be some, or sort by IV rank. A couple of these companies are worth looking at, like SFIX, Fortress. Yeah, honestly, let's see what's going on with SLV. But guys, also, go to a scan, see what's up. We got lots of things that meet this criteria, right? 33 stocks that are relatively liquid and have an IV versus forecast of at least 1.2. It's a decent little bit to look through. We had a little period there where there wasn't much because we were just coming out of this high implied vol regime, and it's screwed with like the realized vol relative to the forecast, relative to the implied vol, screwed with it for a little bit. But I think we're in the clear now, so I would hop back on it. Okay, let's take a look at SLV. Oh, Micah, when you get a chance, man, take a look at the rough draft of the user manual for the terminal I sent. I sent it over to you. I posted in that little PA contributors thing. Okay, SLV. Let's see what's going on. Implied vol 30-day at 30.5%. The forecast is at 25.5%. Okay. Let's take a look here at the IV versus the forecast. So these are the things you love to see, right? You love to just see implied vol outpacing realized vol like this. I'm not sure if I would call this a pump. And the reason why I would say that this is not pumped up is like, man, I remember we were short like back here. I know. I like to see that, Micah. I really do like to see this actually. And one of the reasons I like to see this as well is because, it's unlikely that this thing's going to like rip in one day. You know what I mean? This just looks like variance risk premium, typical stuff. But don't forget this. IV on the 30-day was at 76 at one point, right? And this was not that long ago. This was like 7 months ago, 8 months ago. Well, actually like 10 months ago. But we were actually short vol back here when it was like 55%. But we were on like the 90-day, I think. Right, so we were back here. To remember, like, take this in. The 120-day and stuff was at 58%. It was absolutely batshit crazy. And we rode that shit all the way down to like 40. But now this looks like a good IV versus realized vol play, not a Vega play, but like a theta play. So off the bat, I'm thinking this looks pretty good. If we look at other metals, like, can you guys tell me like one for gold? Right, if we look at CPER, do we see something similar? Right, we see something very similar here. In fact, this one might be almost a better play, right? It looks like we have a similar level of implied volatility with a lot less realized vol here on CPER. Right, so this might be the play. MT. I'm not seeing the ticker show up here. Oh, here. This one doesn't look like it has as much edge off the bat. There's an okay amount of volume. In the next 30 days, the market's pricing in some pretty serious risk of this thing moving though, man. Do you understand? Have you done research into why this thing's pricing in this kind of a move? GLD, let's see. Yeah, I would be careful with MT, man. You got to understand what the market's pricing in there. Actually, let me check one more thing for MT. Okay, nothing too crazy. Vol's pretty bid across the term structure. So let's go to GLD here for a sec. Do we see something similar happening in this space? Nothing as crazy, but it has outpaced GLD and SLV. Here, let's do this. SLV, let's go over here, GLD, GLD. Okay, it looks in line. Yeah, honestly, Micah, I don't think this is retail. It's in line, like the ratio of IV to RV is in line with what we're seeing for other other metal classes like gold, right? GLD, SLV. If you look at the spread of IV to RV, it's very, very similar for the two, right? If SLV was being pumped, you would see it separate. You'd see a big spread here probably, right? Because why would gold be getting pumped at the same time? You'd see IV or actually, well, maybe not, because you would see IV and RV go up for it. So the spread between the two might be the same still. Like we're definitely seeing SLV have more vol than GLD, but we also see that like it always has more vol. I'm not seeing it move, differently from it. Right? Think about this, right? Look over here. This is in, the start of Feb. Right? Is that when GME sort of started? That's when all this stuff really began, I think. And we saw the 30-day vol go up to 80. Right? It's like this looks like the pump. Right? This is what a pump would look like, I feel like. I remember when that happened. I think I took a bet on it because I was FOMOing. But I'm not saying it looks like a bad trade. I actually think it looks like a good trade. But you want to, Jordan said something yesterday that was really important. It's like, it's not just about making or losing money. It's like, we want to make sure that we know why we're making or losing money. If let's say your hypothesis is wrong, right? It's not retail and you make money, like that should be a little concerning, right? You were wrong and made money, right? And we want to be super clear on that. So just what I'm seeing from the data here, I'm not thinking it's retail. Could be wrong. GLD, SLV, let's see if there's any correlation. Okay, so it's a pretty high correlation, right? So these are definitely fair to compare to each other, right? 0.85. So this relative value analysis definitely holds some weight, my friend. I would just say this is a straight VRP play. Looks like we're getting overcompensated a bit here for the risk. I would say this probably has something more to do with like inflation risk, just general market, uncertainties, the rise of like crypto, things like that. Probably just a little bit more of a risk premium for hedging with, GLD, SLV, things like that. A little bit more of a risk premium being baked in than should be. And we could come in there and provide that liquidity. I think it's a decent play. So guys, with that being said, I guess we're going to wrap up this morning's stream here. Went till 11:10, right on time. Time for me to get back to work on that user manual. Micah, when you got time, I want you to go through it, man. I know you've used Bloomberg before, for example. You've done like the BMC and all this stuff. I would love to know what you think of the manual I'm putting together. And it'll also show you how to use some of the features that maybe you've been unfamiliar with or neglecting to use, things like that. So it could be cool. All right, guys, with that being said, we're going to wrap up the stream here. Drop a like, guys. I see 12 of you still in here and there's only 8 likes. What the fuck? We'll see you guys in the group. Take it easy.